Okay, so in our previous chapter we had a brief overview of Excel, how cells and columns work and how the sheets are contained within the workbook, as well as having a little bit of a look at the ribbon and some of the commands we can find there. What I want to do now is drill into a bit more detail within the File menu. The File menu controls all of the information relating to the actual Excel workbook. So not the individual sheets, but file level type commands. So from here, as you can see, I can save a file, I can create a new file, and I can share my file, as well as various other options. We're not going to drill into a huge amount of detail with each one of these categories because we will examine them in much more detail later on in the program. So this is just to give you an orientation of where things can be found in what is called the Backstage View or the File menu. First of all, we have the Info menu or the Info section. Within the Info section, we can first of all find all of our document properties. Useful things like knowing when a file was last modified or when it was created or who it was created by. We can also see the size of the file, which is something that you might want to watch as you develop your workbooks over time. We also have some protection options for different ways we can restrict and protect our workbook. We can inspect our workbook and check for different issues. We can also manage versions, and this allows us to recover auto-saved versions of our work. And also we can control the way that a browser will view an embedded Excel document. So that's the Info section. Now let's move on to the New section. New allows you to create new workbooks, as the title would imply. But there are also a few other options available to us, and these are these templates. So from this new menu, I can create a financial portfolio template and add my personal data to somebody else's pre-built template. I can also take a tour and get some information about all things new in 2013, or I can look at other video tutorials. For now, we are just going to start with the basic thing that you are going to do on a daily basis, and that is just open a blank workbook. I simply double click and a new workbook is loaded. From here I can start to enter information, write formulas, add charts, etc. Let's move on to other areas of the Backstage View, that being the Open menu. So within Open we can view a few different options. We can see our recent workbooks, and as we move through the different tutorial videos, you will notice this recent workbook list is going to expand with all the workbooks that I will have been working on. We also have access to the SkyDrive documents, and we will talk more about how we save and retrieve our files from the cloud. I can open a file from my own computer or a USB stick, and we can also add in other places on the net that we can get a file from, such as SkyDrive or Office 365. We also have a button here which is the Save button. Now, unlike the Info or New or Open button, the Save button doesn't have a menu, it simply saves the document. So if I hit Save, it will prompt me to save the workbook to a specific location. This is because the workbook has never been saved before. Let's try another file that I know has already been saved, which is my File menu document. So I am to come into File menu and then hit Save. The file will simply be saved in place. The other button that works in the same way is the Close button. The Close button doesn't have a menu, it will simply close the file. So we can try and close that now, and you can see that file has now been closed. Of course, I do want to still use it, so I'm going to go to my recent workbooks and I'm going to open it again. Let's have a look at another feature within the File menu, also known as the Backstage View. We have the Save As options. Within here we can specify where we want to save our document, as it is very similar to the Open section, and it offers us various locations to open from. Save As allows us to save to various destinations. More about file control in a minute, but that is where you save as your documents. We also have a print area which will deal with all aspects of printing, such as choosing a printer, adjusting the way that your document is portrayed on a printer or an export. We have sharing options which will allow us to share via email or other social media options. We can also export a document to PDF or a variety of other documents that we will view later, or as previously discussed, we can simply close the document. We also have the account menu at the bottom here. This will allow you to do things like sign into your SkyDrive or sign into other Microsoft Office products. Finally, the options menu. The options menu is a little bit different in that it loads a new window pop-up. And within the options, Excel options, there is a huge variety of functions and options that we can adjust, relating to general functions, formulas, proofing, saving, language, advanced, customizing the ribbon, the toolbar, add-ins, and other trust center controls like our macro security. So that concludes our overview of the File menu.